Good morning, YouTube. Bringing you my latest here, and this is a Husqvarna Model 20 12-gauge double-barrel shotgun. And this shotgun here has been around a while. According to the serial number, it was made around 1905, and it's a double barrel, and it's an older style, but it is not a Damascus barreled gun. These are fluid steel barrels, so they can take smokeless powder. And I'm not going to load it heavy. I'm loading my own shells for this, and I'm loading them light. And these are the shells I've got loaded. I've got a couple of number 4s that I want to try out, and a couple of number 7.5s. And if you notice the way I loaded these shells, because this is not chambered in 2 3/4 inch, this is chambered in 2 5/8 inch, and these shells are 2.5 inch shells. But because they are not crimped, they're about 1/8 of an inch longer, a little bit longer than that, so they'll still fit in the chambers. And what I've done is use an over, this is kind of what they used to do with paper shells, you use an over powder card, and then, or use the powder, a wad, and here's your shot, and then there's an over shot card. And what I've done is put a little bit of adhesive on the ends of that to help seal it in place. And then to the start of a crimp with a crimp tool, to where, you know, it kind of helps hold that in place. And I'm going to go out and try, hopefully, despite how cold it is, I'm going to go out and pattern it this morning, see where it shoots, because I definitely want to take this thing out hunting. And even for a 12 gauge, this is a very light gun. This is I've seen 20 gauge doubles that are heavier than this. This gun weighs maybe 6.5 pounds. It's very light, even though it's got 29-inch barrels. And it's an under lever gun, which is takes a little getting used to. Instead of having the lever on the top, it does take a bit of getting used to with that, but the action is nice. I got it fairly reasonably, and it's in beautiful shape. I mean, very well engraved. Somebody did a nice job engraving. I've seen a lot of these, but I've never seen another one with a level of engraving that's on this particular gun. You know, if I can get up close here towards the, you can see how well engraved this is. And it continues along the bottom. It was fairly well done. And most of them I see are not engraved like this, so this was a higher grade. And it's in good shape. The lockup is very tight. I find it's actually, when I cleaned it and I first got it, it seems to be a little tighter than most of your like American style. And what I found out is that because Husqvarna is a Swedish gun, they use these guns a lot longer, and they still do. There are videos out there of guys hunting with these types of shotguns, especially Husqvarnas. And they made these well into the 1940s until Husqvarna got out of the gun making business altogether. And you'll see occasionally, they're usually in 16 gauge and 12 gauge. And occasionally you'll see one with 1 barrel rifled and 1 barrel smoothbore. And why they did that was because some of the game laws over there in those countries, you needed to have something that had a rifled barrel. So they had to have, they basically had a combination gun. They had the 1 barrel that would take a slug and kill deer, or over there it would be reindeer, and the other barrel would be for small game. And they would have the one gun, because they didn't have pump action shotguns over there, or at least certainly not in the numbers that we do here. They didn't have semi-auto shotguns especially. So a lot of the hunting over there, and still is, done with these types of nice double barrel shotguns. And from what I've talked to a couple people, these guns were very well made. Better in some cases than the American guns made here. And because there's not a lot of collector interest in them, you can get them fairly cheap. I found several of these for 1/3, even less than that of a price of, say, a Colt double barrel shotgun or a Greener or something along the same lines, and it's the same quality or better. So with that said, being YouTube, I'm going to take to the range hopefully and warm up a little bit, and then I'm going to pattern some number 4 shot and some 7.5 shot. Hello YouTube. I'm going to have to be quick on this because the camera keeps freezing up because it's only about 15 degrees out, but I got the Husqvarna out to the range, and you can see even focusing is getting me tough, but you can see it actually shoots fairly well. You can kind of see all these targets here. That's left barrel and the right barrel at 30 yards, and that's 7.5-inch shot. And then of course you go for, I'm not sure why the left barrel was so ragged, only a few pellets here for the left barrel. I don't know if might have been the load. I might have pulled it a little bit, but you can see it was much better for the right barrel. And so I mean, this would be a great turkey gun, probably 30-35 yards. I'd say 30 might be the best I'm going to get out of it. Again, these are light loads. I'm only shooting 7/8 of an ounce out of these instead of an ounce or an ounce and a quarter. You know, I don't want to push this old gun too much. But she does shoot, and of course with these light loads, recoil, even though this gun is very light. This gun does not weigh 7 pounds. It's ridiculously light. She shoots really well, and the recoil is almost non-existent. It's a very pleasant gun to shoot. It's actually, with these light loads, it's very much like a light 20 gauge. And I can't wait to take this out small game hunting, which I'm hoping to do quite a lot now that it's this time of year. So with that being said, YouTube, here's another nice old gun that's heading back to the woods. This old Husqvarna Model 20, made in 1905, and it's going to be heading out to the woods once again. And if I can get this back in focus, because the camera's been freezing up on me. And with that being said, YouTube, have a good day.